Good morning, 7th grade. Today we're going to continue our discussion concerning verbs, and today we are going to be distinguishing whether our verbs in the sentence can be labeled as transitive or intransitive. At the top of today's lesson number 13, please put your first and last name, class 7, and today's date 10/22, October 22nd. It is Thursday. If you follow along carefully today, using 3 simple directions, I'm quite confident that if you don't already know the difference between transitive and intransitive, you certainly will by the time we finish our examples. Depending upon its use in a particular sentence, an action verb can be either transitive or intransitive. A transitive verb is followed by a word called a direct object. This is one of those nouns that we may have already identified in a previous unit, but we didn't say what it was other than it's a noun. So now we're going to see if there's something that goes along with the noun. It answers the question what or whom. There's going to be a noun that follows the verb, answering the question what or whom, and we'll call it transitive. Intransitive means it does not. It does not have a direct object. And so, if we take a look at the 2 examples down below, Sean painted landscapes and portraits. Sean painted what? Landscapes, noun. It just so happens that there's 2 of them. It's compound. Sean painted what? Portraits. Because there is a noun, in this case 2, that follows the verb painted, we call it transitive. Sean painted beautifully. Beautifully is not a noun. Again, some of you might recognize that this ends in ly, and that's an adverb. This is not a noun. Because there is not a noun that follows the verb, we call it intransitive. Sean painted. It doesn't say Sean painted the fence. It says how he painted. He painted beautifully. In order for a verb to be called transitive, it must contain a direct object. There are some sentences that don't have objects. They don't even have any words that follow the verb. What comes to my mind right away is the shortest sentence in the Bible, Jesus wept. Subject Jesus, verb wept. It's intransitive. There is no direct object answering the question what or whom. I would like for you to think about identifying in layers. And what I mean by identifying in layers is I'm going to put into practice Unit 1, and I'm going to put into practice Unit 2, and it's going to help me with today's lesson. On top of that, I'm going to put into practice what I've already learned concerning the use of prepositions and prepositional phrases in a sentence. So, layers, prepositional phrases, Unit 1, subjects and predicates, simple and complete. And my third layer is going to be prepositional phrases. So here they are. Once again, I have blocked out the directions that are there. And today, we're going to follow these simple directions. Circle the verb. Underline the direct object. And put parentheses around the prepositional phrases. I know some of you are already saying, hey, wait a second. I have my highlighters here. I want to use that's fine. Use 3 different colors so that you can keep them straight. 1 color for the verb, 1 color for the direct object, and 1 for the prepositional phrases. Again, I want you to think in layers. Now, not every sentence is going to have a direct object. What will we call it? Intransitive. Not every sentence has prepositional phrases. But if they do, I want to pick them out. I want to pick them out because I want to be seeing that these sentences become much shorter if there are prepositional phrases. Follow with me, please. Aaron painted his house. What is the subject of the sentence? It's Aaron. What is the verb? Painted. What did he paint? House. Is that a noun? Yes. Aaron painted what? House. What do I call it? Transitive. Is there a prepositional phrase? Nope. So I obviously don't have one to identify. Hiroko plays softball and tennis every summer. Verb, plays. Plays what? Softball. Plays what? Tennis. Like my example above, I have 2 of them. It's transitive. Why? Because it has an object. Sentence 2. Notice the green prepositional phrase. Class, that's almost half of the sentence that I cannot use. My prepositional phrase will not be my verb. My prepositional phrase will not be my subject. And my prepositional phrase cannot be the object of the verb. Subject, pigeon. Verb, drank. Drank what? Water. Again, highlight or circle drank. Highlight or underline water because it's the direct object. And put parentheses around or use a different color from the muddy puddle prepositional phrase. Transitive. The eagle soared higher and higher in the sky. Circle the verb soared. Prepositional phrase, in the sky. Notice that example 3 is like the example up above. Sean painted beautifully. Higher and higher doesn't answer the question what. Those are not nouns. Therefore, I have a red mark here by sentence number 3 because sentence number 3 is intransitive. Four, the stern judge gave a harsh sentence to the defendant. Verb, gave. Gave what? Sentence. Noun. Direct object. Prepositional phrase, to the defendant. What do I call a sentence that has a verb and a direct object? I call it transitive. 5. The happy baby wore a toothless grin. No prepositional phrase. Verb, wore. Wore what? Grin. Transitive. Number 6, a great example of how having identified the prepositional phrase makes my work a lot simpler. About 1,000 miles southeast and of Australia, are two prepositional phrases. What's left? New Zealand lies. That's like Jesus wept. There is not an object in sentence number 6. What am I going to call it? Intransitive. Number 7. City Council meets once a week. City Council meets. Verb is meets. Once a week is a prepositional phrase. I call this sentence intransitive. Maria prepares dinner for the family. Prepositional phrase, for the family. Maria prepares what? Dinner. Transitive. Before we go any further, again, if you have any questions about identifying the verb, finding a noun that follows the verb, which we call the direct object, or again the prepositional phrase, make yourself a note in the side column and you can contact me by way of GoGuardian and I can help you identify these in the sentence. On to number 9. The artist painted colorful geometric designs. I have no prepositional phrase. Ask yourself the question, paints what? What did the artist paint? Designs. Transitive. I'm confused. What are these? Well, these words describe what kind of designs. Painted what designs? Number 10. The news reporter lifted her eyebrows in disbelief. Lifted what? Lifted eyebrows. That is transitive. Number 10 is transitive. Prepositional phrase, in disbelief. 11. The news of war shocked the nation and the world. Now, I'm looking to find prepositional phrases. So, here's a prepositional phrase. The news shocked what? Nation. The news shocked world. It has an object. It has two objects. Therefore, I call it transitive. Now, let's look carefully at sentence number 12. Notice I have a red mark here, so that red mark means that it is intransitive. Why is sentence number 12 intransitive? Muttered what? Under his breath is a prepositional phrase. There is no noun that follows. That's why it does not have an object, and I call it intransitive. Number 13. Dinosaurs resembled. In their leg and foot structure is a prepositional phrase. Resembled what? Birds. When there's a noun that follows the verb, I call it a direct object, and the sentence is transitive. 14. Coach made what? Coach made suggestion. Transitive. 15. The buffalo herd stampeded across the prairie. Stampeded. What? There's nothing there. This is a prepositional phrase, across the prairie. Therefore, I call it intransitive. Let's turn to page number 76 and take just a couple of more examples today, distinguishing the difference between sentences that are transitive and intransitive. Number 16. Mr. Armstrong bragged about his 5 children. What's my prepositional phrase? About 5 children. What is my verb? My verb is bragged. Does it contain a noun? No. 16 is intransitive. Number 17. The magician pulled a bird out of his sleeve. Out of his sleeve, prepositional phrase. What did the magician pull? The magician pulled the bird. Object, intransitive. The proud peacock displayed its feathers. Displayed what? Feathers. The verb is displayed. There is no prepositional phrase. Because this contains an object, I call it transitive. The dental technician cleaned teeth with expertise. I'm getting rid of this right away because that is an example of a prepositional phrase. Cleaned what? Cleaned teeth. That is transitive. Again, remember, we're doing this in layers. We're finding the verb. We're seeing if there is a noun that follows the verb, and then if there is a prepositional phrase. Number 20. The sad clown wiped his eyes with an oversized handkerchief. Again, I like to pick them out first because now my option really gets limited because I have a prepositional phrase. The sad clown wiped. What did the technician wipe? The clown wiped his eyes, and that makes it transitive. My takeaway from today is that sentences can contain verbs. In the sentences that contain a noun that follows the verb, we call it transitive. If there is no noun that follows the verb, we call it intransitive. And I also remember that in some sentences, there are prepositional phrases. Tomorrow, we will continue by reviewing transitive and intransitive verbs. Your assignment for today has been completed. Today, Thursday, the 22nd of October, we completed pages 75 and 76, 1 through 20. You're completed with today, Thursday's assignment. We'll talk again tomorrow, Friday. Have a great day.